The HyperX Cloud Stinger Core is $40 or just $50 if you get it with 7.1 surround sound, which I have here. And HyperX didn't include any fancy features such as RGB, so I was hoping they spent the money making it a better performing headset. I'm going to tell you guys in this review. So guys, let's get into this. In the box you obviously get the headset itself, a 7.1 adapter if you get the 7.1 version, and your standard instructions and warranty manuals. The build quality of this headset is okay. It's made of all plastic, which you would expect to feel cheap, but I found it to be quite robust, and it actually means it's also quite light. You can I can be quite aggressive with it and not feel like I'm going to break the headset at any point. It also has plenty of adjustability, so it has a decent amount of extension on the ear cups themselves. The mic can easily be bent to wherever you want it to, and we'll give that a test later. The ear cups themselves have a little bit of swivel, but not a lot, so that's not great. They don't completely go flat against your chest if that's something you like, but I understand that they wanted to save money on this headset. There's also a dedicated volume scroll wheel on the headset itself, which personally I found to be quite annoying because it doesn't sync up with your Windows volume. It is dependent on the headset itself and what that's on. This, especially when I got the headset at first and it was on 0 and I didn't know there was a scroll wheel, I thought the headset wasn't working. Once you get past that and just leave that on a constant volume, it's not too bad, and I assume it's not synced up with your Windows volume on purpose so that it can be used with consoles and other devices without having different models for each of those. The cable is a rubber cable, which to be honest I'm happy with. A lot of headset cables I've had, even from more expensive headsets, they're braided and then they tend to curl up, and then the braiding, it just doesn't work well for me. It is non-detachable though, which is a shame. And obviously, even if you get the 7.1 version, it has a 3.5mm jack, so you can use that on any device, no problem. If you have the 7.1 version, you get an adapter for 7.1 surround sound, which then converts it into a USB headset. I found it to be quite comfy, so it uses cloth ear cups, which are quite large. They're fairly deep and plenty wide enough for any size ears. It's also very light, as I mentioned when I talked about the build quality, which I personally really like. A lot of more premium headsets I've used tend to be heavier, and that means over long periods of time it can actually become quite uncomfortable, and I didn't have this problem with this headset at all. In addition to this, the clamping force isn't too much, but it's enough that it keeps it securely on your head. It's not going to fall off easily, but at the same time you don't feel like you're getting squished, making it, like I said before, just really comfortable to wear for long periods of time. Equally as important when you're buying a headset as comfort, the sound quality is definitely something to consider. And on the HyperX Core Stinger, it really isn't that bad. It's it's not exceptional. You can definitely notice the difference between more premium headsets or dedicated headphones. But for the price, I don't think you can really go wrong. It was a nice experience to use in games, and it definitely felt quite good. And it was acceptable for listening to things like music. The 7.1 is a bit of a grey area and will depend on different people. So it does make things feel a bit echoey and a bit distant. But once you get used to it, it can be quite useful to hear, bit more directional in games. It obviously is virtual 7.1, so it's never going to be great. And if you don't like it, I'd definitely save the money. But if the extra price isn't a big deal to you, I definitely think it's worth trying out. Some people like it, some people hate it, because nowadays just good stereo is plenty in games in my opinion, and it's not really essential. It's kind of just a selling point. You can always turn it off through the HyperX Ingenuity software, which is the only thing you can do in there other than control the volume of the microphone and headset itself. So I'm going to film this section about the microphone using the microphone, so you guys can kind of form your own opinion on how good you think it is. Overall, I think it's not too bad. It's plenty good enough for chatting with your mates and playing games. It's got great adjustability too, so this whole thing is very flexible. You can put it wherever you want, and it can be flicked up and mute the microphone automatically. That's a nice feature. Unfortunately, you don't get any sort of beep or notification in the headset to know that's worked, but once you get used to it, it's completely fine. So, like I said, here's a little mic test of the microphone, and you guys can see what you think of it yourself. Overall, I think HyperX have done a great job with the Cloud Stinger Core. I think it's a great value for money headset for $50 or $40 especially if you don't get the 7.1 version. I found it to be very comfortable, the sound quality was more than good enough, and the mic was fairly good. It was plenty good enough for gaming and chatting with your mates, as I said before. So I don't think you can really go wrong with it. If you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please leave a like or consider subscribing. If you'd like to leave me some feedback or just have a question, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, or just check out some of our other videos. There's plenty of reviews of things you might like. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.